Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. Which of the following national waterways are correctly matched? We have the national waterway on one side, the river on the other side. National waterway 1, Ganga, Bhagirathi, Hooghly river system. National waterway 2, Brahmaputra river. National waterway 3, Krishna and Godavari. National waterway 10, Amba river. Which of them are correctly matched? The answer to this is 1, 2 and 4 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the PIB makes a reference to National Waterway 2 and National Waterway 1. Out of 111 national waterways declared under the National Waterways Act of 2016, only 13 are operational as of now. So the National Waterway 1 is on the river system of Ganga, Bhagirathi and Hooghly. National Waterway 2 is on Brahmaputra. National Waterway 3 is not on Krishna and Godavari, but instead it is on West Coast Canal, Champakara Canal and Udayamandal Canal. The National Waterway 4 is along the Krishna and Godavari river system. National Waterway 10 is around Amba river. Then we have National Waterway 83, which is the Rajpuri Creek. National Waterway 85, which is the Revadhanda Creek, Kundalika river system. National Waterway 91, Shastri river, Jaigat Creek system. National Waterway 68, Mandovi, bridge to the Arabian Sea. National Waterway 111, Zuari, Sarvodam bridge to Mangrove Port. National Waterway 73, Narmada river. National Waterway 100, Tapi river, and National Waterway 97, Namkana to Athar Baikal. So there are 111 which are declared, 13 are operational for shipping and navigation system. What are the importance of this national waterway system? Basically, they are environmentally friendly. They are also the cost effective mode of transport as well. We have the road system, we have the rail system. Of all this system of transport happens to be cost effective as well. Now, one important pointer which you have to put on the comment section is who is responsible for the development and regulation of inland waterways for shipping and navigation in India. Please put it on the comment section. Now, let's look into the next practice question. The Central Industrial Security Force provides security cover to nuclear installations, space establishments, private corporate establishments, VIPs nominated by the Home Ministry. Which of these are provided security cover by the Central Industrial Security Force? The answer to this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to Central Industrial Security Force. The Central Industrial Security Force was set up by an Act of Parliament back in the year 1969 under an Act of Parliament called as Central Industrial Security Force Act of 1968. What does it provide security cover to? It provides security cover to the infrastructure in the country, critical infrastructure. This includes nuclear installations, space establishments, airports, seaports, power plants, sensitive government buildings, heritage monuments and large-scale economic zones as well. In the year 2008, we had the Mumbai terror attack. After the Mumbai terror attack, the mandate of the CISF was also broadened. After this, they have started providing security cover to the private corporate establishments as well, and at the same time, the CISF also provides specialized VIP security cover as well. The CISF is the only force with a customized and dedicated fire wing. The CISF is a compensatory cost force as well. In the present situation, what we have is the Home Minister of India who's coming up with a proposal to have a hybrid security model where the CISF would train and certify private security agencies so that they can take over the task of efficiently guarding various kinds of industrial and manufacturing units in India. So working out with the private entities is what is called as the hybrid security model, which is being proposed by the Home Minister of the country. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements with respect to HANSA NG. It is unmanned aerial vehicle developed by Aeronautical Development Establishment. It will replace or supplement the Heron UAVs in service with the Indian Armed Forces. It can be deployed at high altitude areas like Ladakh and in harsh environments for day and night surveillance by infantry soldiers and special forces. Which of the above statements are correct? The answer to this is none. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the HANSA NG. The HANSA NG is not an unmanned air vehicle. Instead, it is a trainer aircraft. So remember, it is a trainer aircraft and not a UAV. What are some of the important features of this particular aircraft? HANSA is a new generation which is reportedly one of the most advanced flying trainers, powered by a Rotex digital control engine with features such as composite lightweight airframe, a glass cockpit, a bubble canopy with a wide panoramic view, and electrically operated flaps as well. So basically this also has long endurance, low acquisition and low operating cost, which happens to be the significant factors of this trainer aircraft. Because it has low cost and low fuel consumption, this is designed to meet the Indian Flying Club needs, and it is an ideal aircraft for the commercial pilot licensing. So remember, HANSA NG happens to be an indigenously developed aircraft trainer. It was developed by CSIR, National Aerospace Laboratory. So as part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section some of the important facts in reference to the National Aerospace Laboratories. Now let's look into the next practice question. Mariupol, a major port city recently seen in news, is part of which country? Romania, Poland, Belarus, Ukraine. The answer to this is Ukraine. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to Mariupol. So remember, this happens to be a major trading port. It has a population of about 4,50,000 and it is a key city on the Russia-Crimea land route. So remember, when it comes to places in news for UPSC Civil Services examination, we have a conflict-ridden region which can be asked for the UPSC examination if there is a man-made disaster or is a natural catastrophe. In such a case, the places will be asked by UPSC. The other places which have been in use includes Userhod, which is in the country of Ukraine. Then we have Medakya, which happens to be a road border crossing between Poland as well as Ukraine. Then we also have Bucharest. Why are these places in use? That is because we also have the Indian government which is evacuating Indian citizens, and these Indian citizens are asked to move from Ukraine to other countries like Hungary, Poland, Slovak Republic and Romania. Since these students were asked to move from one country to another to different countries, this has become a part of places in news. Remember, Bucharest happens to be the capital and largest city of Romania. In fact, Indian students were also asked to come to this city and they were also evacuated from Bucharest and they were brought back to India as well. Apart from this, UPSC can also ask countries in and around Russia. We have to know the seas in and around it. So you have to picturize the European map. So we have Russia here. We need to know which are the countries in and around Russia and major seas in and around Russia as well. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements in respect of the Laureus World Sports Award, which was instituted in the year 2000. American golfer Tiger Woods was the first winner of this award. The award was received mostly by Formula 1 players so far. Roger Federer received this award maximum number of times compared to others. Which of the above statements are correct? The answer to this is 1 and 3 only. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2021. The first statement is right. The second statement is wrong because the most awards is not given to the Formula 1 players, but instead it is for the tennis players. And once again, the third statement is right. So the answer to this would be 1 and 3 only. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is humanitarian corridors. This is an article on the Indian Express newspaper. What is this humanitarian corridors? Let me give you an example. We have the Russia and the Ukraine crisis. Russia has been the aggressor state. We have the Ukraine which has been the victim of this particular aggression. So during this particular state, an aggressor state may lay siege to multiple cities in that particular country. But what we also require is that the civilians should be protected. They should be provided with medical aid. They should be provided with food and other accessories as well. So for a specific period of time, for a specific duration of time, a particular conflict-ridden region is demilitarized, is what is called as humanitarian corridor. So what is a humanitarian corridor? A particular city which is under the siege, which is under the control of the aggressor, will be temporarily provided relief so that the food can be given to this particular city, health related aid can be given to this particular city, and evacuation of the civilians can also be undertaken from this particular city. So the United Nations considers humanitarian corridors to be several possible forms of a temporary pause of the armed conflict. The armed conflict will be temporarily suspended for a specific duration of time so that this can help in medical aid, providing the food as well as providing other accessories. In most cases, humanitarian corridors are negotiated by the United Nations, and if it is not United Nations, it can also be done by the local groups as well. Who gets access to the humanitarian corridors? This will be decided by the parties in conflict. In the specific case, we have Russia and Ukraine who decide who gets access to the humanitarian corridors. This can be the neutral parties like United Nations, or it can be the non-governmental organizations, or it can also be human rights organizations like Amnesty International. So it is these parties which decide who gets access to the humanitarian corridors. The humanitarian corridors have been put in place since the mid 20th century. For example, during the so-called Kinder transport from 1938 to 1939, Jewish children were evacuated to the United Kingdom from areas under the Nazi control, and humanitarian corridors were also created during the 1992-1995 siege of Sarajevo, Bosnia, and the 2018 evacuation of Ghouta, Syria as well. The humanitarian corridors are nothing but temporary demilitarized zones so that there is a safe transit for the humanitarian aid as well as for the refugees to move out of the crisis region. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.